Coccodrillo. Coccodrillo.
Coccodrillo. The R is at the wrong place, but Italians. It doesn't really look like a E100 crocodile. It's more like an armadillo or something, but really rounded, sloped turret front with a weird matlet and a gun sleeve next to the muzzle brake, which basically defeats the purpose of the muzzle brake. I don't know. Tier 10 special Italian medium tank, large caliber gun, and two versions. One's the regular auto-reloader for medium tanks, and one is the improved one from the heavy tanks, but doesn't really matter that much, right? When the heavy tanks needs a buff, especially the Rinoceronte, the Rinoceronte, but that's a really well sloped turret front. And the matlet might throw a few shots, but we'll have to see. So the first vehicle using the new Garage UI for the in-game stats, but what's the point of this gun sleeve or shield, right? From the bottom? Prevents the fume or exhaust from obstructing the gunner sights at the bottom, but the gunner sights are on the top of the turret though. Alright. The cupola is also kind of weird. It's not exactly a cupola. It's a bunch of periscopes mounted in like a merry-go-round on top of the turret. So you'll see the actual collision model with the new UI, but that's not exactly a weak spot, so alright. Fenders on the side, side skirts, not exactly total. There are a few gaps, but okay. Italian medium tanks are not lacking. There's only one like kind of mediocre or average, and that is the Felice. The rest are pretty decent, right? The Progettos, the Lions, the OF40, or the Serpente that we saw recently, so not exactly lacking, or the Prototipo. So all special or premium Italian medium tanks are decent, also including the regular tech tree, but that got nerfed. Like twice if I remember correctly. But another one, comparable to the Lion, except bigger alpha for the gun. It should be a 120 with like 470 alpha. I took a quick look, but it's a big caliber gun, so for a medium tank anyways, but they're now experimenting with different alphas, so no more regular 390 for 105s or 400 for 120s, so we're long past that of the conventional standard alpha damage, so regular caliber guns are no longer the case. But yeah, medium tanks are not lacking, so yeah, you're eating pretty well with a good crew, like a Progetto 65 crew. No problem. Yeah, fancy cupola. It's a bunch of periscopes, yeah, merry-go-round. Alright. Should be a crew of 4, if I remember correctly, but we'll see. 470 alpha, 2 versions, but this is the regular version. So 6 seconds between each shot. Standard shot velocity is APCR, which is quick. 4-man crew. Base pin is decent, but it's about the alpha damage. Reload time is 13 seconds. So this is basically just... Wait. There's no downside to this reload. It's always 13 seconds. It's 3 rounds in the clip, but usually auto-reloaders are like, first shell is the longest, second shell is the second longest, the last shell is the fastest, but there's no difference for now, so it's always 13 seconds, so theoretically 39 seconds for 3 rounds, and I mean 470 alpha. Accuracy aim time is above what you like, so a little bit longer to aim and obviously not as accurate, but as expected out of the 470 alpha. It's 490 on the Felice, right? If I remember correctly, but 8 degrees gun depression, 20 elevation. I've been playing a lot of the E5, T110 E5, and you can tell the difference between that vehicle and a M48A5 pattern. 8 degrees and 10 degrees is pretty dramatic on some of the maps, but still could be decent. 60 rounds, 17.3 horsepower per ton ratio, not bad. I mean, it's not the fastest, but not like 22 or 20. Unique turbocharger, 50 kilometers per hour top speed. Hull traverse is good. Turret traverse is a little bit slow. It's more like a fat medium tank. 1900 health. Also on the lower end of medium tanks at tier 10, but that's expected out of a support medium. 110 on the hull front and turret front. It is well sloped. And only 50 on the hull sides. 80 for the turret sides. 15.3% camo. That's average. You want about 18% or 17%. That's above average. Garbage is like 9 or 10 on the pattern. So 400 meters of view range. Standard radio. I don't know. New UI. The first time using the new UI for Supertest, but 2 versions. One's the standard autoreloader, and the second version is the heavy tank version, or one way around. It's actually English. Lore text. That's actually pretty good flavor text. It's the same. 1961. The IS-8 or IS-10 T-10M heavy tank. Fight the Soviets. The Red Scare by IS-3s and T-54s, but yeah, just copy the Leopard 1. You don't have to do your own crocodile thing, right? Just copy the Leopard 1. Everybody just copy the Leopard 1 into the Leopard 2. Yay! But alright. It's a 127. Holy crap, that's a big caliber for a medium tank. So 13 seconds between each shot. It's standard reload throughout. There's no difference in the reload time for each and different shell, but base accuracy and aim time is still kind of if, right? Alright. That's the first version. Do we have the second version? No, we don't. Ah, I hate this UI. God. This should be firepower, but it's okay DPM, right? You're not competing the DPM against a Lion using the fastest reload. No. Accuracy aim time is still kind of if. Yeah. I mean, 6 seconds between each shot, which means you cannot really spam the shots like an autoloader, right? I mean, you will still chip away like a lot of health. So it's more like a mix between a medium tank and a tank destroyer, funny enough, like the Minotauros, where they have an autoloader, except it's long intra-shell reload time, even though the actual reload of the clip is actually faster. So that's why some of the Minotauros or Contracaros have crazy DPM, even though they don't really have that high of a DPM. So it's more like a mix between a tank destroyer and a actual auto-reloader. Fine. Nothing too crazy out of the ordinary from the actual stats page. Alright, actual armor then. It's 110 sloped, but it's about... this armor model doesn't explain everything, so you still cannot even know what the hell you're looking at. But at least the cupola is not exactly a weak spot on top. And if it's like 110 at that angle, it should be about 240 or so, right? Especially with the gun depression, which means auto bounce. But you have 8 degrees. You're matching parallel between the mantlet and the actual turret slope. It should be about auto bouncing if it's fully gun depressed, but side skirts are actually there, which is nice some of the time, not covering like these parts on the hull sides, even though it's only like 50. But yeah, it's interesting how the cupola is not exactly a weak spot. It's more like a bunch of periscopes, which it is. But you can still jam the shot into the gun crevice inside underneath the mantlet and just basically damage the vehicle anyways. But it's about the burst fire potential of this vehicle, right? In the span of 12 seconds, you're jamming out like... oh crap, math. 1,410 HP, right? Which is not bad for a medium tank, but still 39 seconds of reload for that alpha burst. You don't have that high of a DPM, but Shell velocity is not bad. Yeah, you do carry 60 rounds, which is good. 4-man crew, fits all the projectos. High explosive anti-tank is slower, obviously. And high explosive is just high explosive. You carry like 3 rounds of high explosive, and that's it. So, I mean, we are seeing a lot of tier 10s, an influx of tier 10s and tier 9s, right? So the tier 10s are basically the new tier 8s. You're going to see a lot of them, like a lot, but we'll have to see the actual armor sloping and the profile, right? Once it's fully gun depressed. And even though some of these vehicles look scary, some of the soft stats are scarily horrendous. Like, for example, this vehicle, which is also Italian, but on paper, aim time accuracy looks great. But once you take a closer look, dispersion sucks on this thing. And DPM also sucks, but yeah, it's a big caliber gun, 127. Even though, yeah, you're struggling with that reload of 15 seconds of reload. So 13 seconds for all the shells makes that vehicle, the Cocodrillo, a lot better than a Rhinoceronte, no question. You're basically about the same power level. You're just faster with like 100 less health, right? So yeah, the vehicle feels a lot better than this thing, even though it's about the same gun, right? You reload faster at the cost of like 20 alpha, practically. But yeah, okay. This thing needs a buff. I hate this vehicle. Possibly the worst tier 10 heavy. You shoot the Mohawk on top of the turret. I mean, that's the only weak spot you can actually aim for, but yeah, don't shoot the actual turret cheeks or the actual gun. It's not gonna pin. Shoot the Mohawk on the top of the gun. But yeah, it feels better than the Rhinoceronte. This thing needs a better dispersion buff, like 0.25 at least, right? But turret traverse also sucks. That should be like 0.1. But this vehicle, I feel, I think you'll have a better time in the Lion. This feels more like a hybrid of assault slash very close support, whereas the Lion is more like a sniper. So the Lion is better at the second shell, which is the fastest in the reload. Yeah, second shell is 7.4 based on the crew, and DPM is actually high if you can actually use this thing as a sniper. So mobility is also not bad. I have the turbocharger and other stuff, but yeah, that vehicle still seems decent compared to the heavy tank, even though it's not as good as the Serpente, right, that we saw on the common test. So if you don't have the Lion, I recommend the Lion first. But if you're collecting all the vehicles, then why the hell would they do a second assembly shop for a Italian medium tank, right? Mix it up a little bit. But then again, they already have 2 Russian heavies in an assembly shop. So yeah, we'll have to see. But I'm guessing either the BZT or the Schwartwall. It's likely the BZT from my experience, since they put the Schwartwall onto the Chinese loot box. But equipment wise, a vertical stabilizer, I would say. Most of the stuff has garbage dispersion, especially in the heavy tanks. I would say vertical stabilizer. Some sort of turbocharger, either the regular one or the one buffing dispersion while moving. And likely optics, so you can actually spot sometimes, right? So standard equipment, turbocharger, optics, vertical stabilizer, but it's similar to the Progetto. Very similar, right? Very similar to the Progetto. You're basically supporting whenever you can and dishing out the damage, but not exactly sniping as with the Lion. This thing has surprisingly kinda troll of a dispersion factor. That's why I put so much into vertical stabilizer, and yep, 0.2 is very troll. 0.12 for turret traverse dispersion is also very troll. So that's why I put Bond vertical stabilizer on this thing. But field mods wise, for support, medium tank at tier 10. Did I even finish any field mods for tier 10 support medium? Huh. Medium support. No, I haven't. I'll just use the regular Progetto. But field mods, First one is better traverse or less penalty. You should not be getting hit. So I would say better traverse, especially for the turret. It's also about the same, 35, comparable to the Progetto. Yeah, I would say better traverse for the turret, about the same, right? Second one is dispersion while moving or aim circle size. Both kinda sucks, supposedly for dispersion as well, but it's the Grill 15 effect, right? Or the WZ114 effect. You can have the best dispersion or base accuracy, but while moving, if it's like 0.3 or 0.4 in the Grill 15's case, you're not going to snapshot. You're waiting for the target to go into your reticle. So, better dispersion while moving. Camo or reverse speed. You should be having turbocharger, and therefore better reverse as well. So I would say better camo. Camo is kind of important for some spotting medium tanks. But DPM or aim circle size after firing, or aim speed, it doesn't change that much with DPM. It's about 100 DPM, right? So I would say having a faster aim time is kind of important on a big caliber gun, right? So actually hitting the target with 2 seconds or 2.2 seconds of aim time instead of like 2.4, I would say better aim time in this scenario. Forgo the DPM. Get yourselves better aim time. And with a good 100% crew and bursting arms and recon and situational awareness, better top speed. And engine power too. So I would say better top speed and engine power. Forgo some of the view range. But if you already have a good crew, like my Progetto, it's already above 445, right? You're already overkilling it. You don't need more view range. Go with better, especially with color optics, go with better top speed, but it feels okay. It's like a better Rhinoceronte, funny enough. They really need to buff this piece of work. Oh, God, I hate it. I really hate this thing. I feel, originally next to the Type 5, this might be the worst Tier 10 heavy tank in the game. Or FV215B, right? The Type 5 got a buff. The 215B, they're not going to touch it for a long ass while. So, yeah. It's like with the 215B, except the gun is so unreliable. So, possibly tied for the worst Tier 10 heavy tank. But as for this vehicle, the Cocodrillo, it's not a heavy, it's medium. Yes, I know, but they play all like a medium tank. You don't really play them like a heavy. I would say if you have the chance, get the Lion first. You won't be disappointed, right? Based on the playstyle, it's more close to the Progetto, but this vehicle is more like a hybrid of a Felice with a tank destroyer, perhaps. Something like this thing. So instead of an autoloader, you get an autoreloader, except faster reload, right? But still, 13 seconds is not bad for 470 alpha on a medium tank, no less. So I would say this vehicle is more like a, it's fine. It's like a 6, right? Depending on armor, depending on soft stats, but I'm scared that this thing will have garbage soft stats, like with the Rhinoceronte or the Lion to a lesser degree. So it's not exactly the same soft stats on stuff like the Vickers Mark III. In that case, for assembly shop, and not even close. Not even close for hull traverse and moving. Not even close. So yeah, you are really close range with this vehicle. But in my surprise, with the alpha damage, right, you'll punch somebody really hard. It's easier to track if you shoot at the drive wheels. So yeah, it's like a 6. I mean, I wouldn't feel too bad getting this thing in an assembly shop or loot box. We already crossed that. We already crossed that threshold. You'll likely see this in loot box or assembly shop, but I think we already have the assembly shop candidate already set. So this is likely holiday ops tier 10. We'll have to see what the actual tier 10s or what the actual premium tanks are going to be featured in Holiday Ops. Are they going to do their own fall day, right? Back in May. It's also back like 5 months ago. Holy crap, time flies. So already crossed that Rubicon. But are they going to do tier loot box in Holiday Ops? It's kind of too late for vehicles currently on the Supertest to make it to Holiday Ops. So I doubt we're going to see this vehicle for Holiday Ops. You might see it for like Lunar New Year loot box or something, right? Down the line for like 5-6 months later. But yeah, Holiday Ops, I'm not thinking this vehicle. But for now, alright, it's like a 6. Well, there you go, folks. The Cocodrillo. It's not exactly a crocodile, but yeah, we're waiting on the E100 crocodile, even though we already got the E90 crocodile, basically. But as always, thank you guys for watching this video. Hopefully you guys enjoyed it. I'll see you guys next time. Peace.
Out there high review, high brightness view.